And we now move on to, although it's not on our agenda, a section for public questions. We were advised before the meeting that Mr. Antony Carpen had a question he wished to pose to the committee regarding Shire Hall. And I'm more than happy to accept that question, and hopefully we will provide a response. So I'll hand over to Mr. Carpen to put your questions to Mr. Next.
Right. Let's make sure we're filming. Splendid, thank you, Chairman. This question that I've submitted comes on the back of a response that Councillor Rains gave to me a few full council meetings ago regarding a proposal that's everything to do with heritage, and I also note that the former Mill Road Library is also on the agenda. Local people are really interested in the future of this site, as well as obviously of the Mill Road Library, and I wanted to, well, basically my proposal for this site was around expanding the Museum of Cambridge as a possibility, given where the car parks currently stand, where we used to have a wonderful courthouse. And since the full council meeting, I've been in touch with some architects and am in a position to potentially commission them to do an outline study on whether it would be possible for part of the site to be used for a Museum of Cambridge and another part of the site to effectively build a castle keep, to have offices in them and to be a potential source of revenue. So one of the things I'd like some advice from is whether I should actually go ahead and spend some of my own money on commissioning those architects, because it's good for business, isn't it? And with a Conservative majority, Conservatives like business, I assume. Secondly, I would like to see a comparison between the potential revenues over, let's say, a 50 or 100 year period of a long-term lease for this building turned into a hotel, because I'm not particularly fussed what happens to it so long as the revenue that comes back can be put towards local government and effectively create an independent stream, as well as helping support the museum, versus selling off the site completely. So that you have a proper sound evidence base as to which one would be more in the public interest. So again, I'd be grateful if at all possible, at some stage we could see the data, mindful of the commercial considerations. In terms of the wider benefits, one of the things that those of you who come into Cambridge regularly will note, especially at this time of year, it becomes very, very crowded. And one of the advantages of turning this into a proper heritage site, beyond what it currently is that it would extend the tourist trail all the way up to the top of the hill. And with those plans, it could potentially create a new heritage hub where we could also potentially have a new transport stop. So we've not just got one single city centre hub, as bearing in mind the plans that Mayor James Palmer has. Having that would, again, as creating jobs and creating revenue, could also create an additional restaurant quarter as well. So again, finally, the real question really is what detailed consideration was given to my proposals of turning part of the Shire Hall site into an expanded Museum of Cambridge and a heritage site, which Councillor Rains said he would ensure would be considered in my response to the public question, because I didn't really see that much of it in the officer's response. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Carpen. As you referred to Councillor Rains responding to this point at full council, I will hand back over to Councillor Rains, who I know has a response for.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, I've got a prepared response, but some of the issues that Mr. Carpen has raised that go beyond his written question, and I just add a few points there. So, Mr. Carpen's previous question at full council was very welcome, and it highlighted an issue that we think is important as members of this council. We said at the time that we'd be taking very seriously the need not only to preserve, but to enhance the importance of the scheduled entry monument and the other historic features of the Shire Hall site as we consider options for its disposal. And I very carefully drafted the word disposal just to respond to what Mr. Carpen's been saying there. Our starting point is indeed that the County Council's policy in terms of assets like this is not outright freehold sale, but leasehold sale. So that's the starting point for our consideration there. This has been reflected since in formal conclusions of this committee, which, as we took decisions forward, highlighted the heritage issues and indeed full council. And it may be worth stressing that this isn't driven principally by the historic importance we attach to the heritage of this county council, even though we're very proud of that. The county council was originally located in the centre of the city, and we've only been here about 90 years, but rather we want to celebrate the longer and broader significance of this site that's been home to Anglo-Saxon burghers and Norman administration, civil war fortress, prison, and many other uses, which place it at the heart of the history of Cambridge and of Cambridgeshire. Now, it's too early in the process to set out exactly what the future enhancement of the historic site will look like. We need first of all to engage with the market, to understand fully what commercial uses of the existing Shire building and its neighbours are going to be most advantageous to the taxpayers of Cambridge. But we've got 5 key elements which for us are a given as we take that forward. The first is that we want to consider this site in the round, and to that end this committee has already halted previous plans to separately dispose of number 42 Castle Street, the old police station, the registry office, so that they can be considered as part of an overall master plan for the site. Secondly, we don't intend to dispose of the part of the site which is a scheduled ancient monument, though there may be creative options for partnering with or delegating to other organisations the day-to-day management. Thirdly, we want the future use of this site, including access arrangements and design, and I hope this is in line with where the question is coming from, to enhance the overall historic offer and attractiveness to tourists of the Castle Hill area, which has a number of other important historic features and attractions. Our current assessment is that a completely new museum is unlikely to be financially sustainable. So we'll be focusing our efforts on conversations about how to make the most of the site in partnership with existing organisations and exploring the contribution that a new occupier of the Shire building might be able to make. Fourthly, we want to work collaboratively with, on options for the site with other partners, including partners that have been mentioned by Mr. Carpen. And lastly, this work is being taken forward as part of a distinct work stream within the overall programme to ensure it receives the level of attention it deserves, and specialist county hall staff will be engaged in that work stream, people who really know about the heritage, know about the museum, ecology and ecology of Cambridgeshire and so on. The future picture for Shire Hall and Castle Hill will develop over the near future as we engage further with partners and develop our plans. So while we can't at this point get into the level of detail Mr. Carpen's question might hope for, we do welcome the continuing interest he and others are showing in this element of the Cambridgeshire 2020 project, and we're very happy to undertake to keep the public updated on progress through future agenda items and future discussions in this committee. And just to, again, go beyond that prepared answer and respond directly to the point Mr. Carpen has raised, it is obviously a choice for him, Chairman, whether he wants to put his own capital at risk, engaging an architect or whatever. But if he has an outline sketch, an idea, a broad plan that he wants to send in to the working group that's working on this, we will be very happy to read that and consider it and take that into account as we consider what the master plan for the site might be.
Thank you very much, Councillor Rains, and thank you for your full answer and also your offer to Mr. Carpen to engage with the process. I think that's, I hope that's been most welcome to you, Mr. Carpen. And although we don't offer the facility to ask supplementary questions at the committee, I do hope you'll engage with the process, and there may be more questions, as Councillor Rains said, as the process progresses.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.